Agasunanggas di na ora Patanadanyay ginay jata Bay koti kanay mo Atan matomo Bay noyo wani jumo Man maguf todu ifamilya Saharawu Esti kontrata Good green saju sadiwat seto tiu comprendi havanani na tiu sedi ofrecimiento imames coração mo atanzo pouco tayogi fionu aoni dan pengi hogu hawa hasu hogu tutungu na hogu igwinai taku hogu wakwaha taputi kurasono atanzu pogu tayogi pionu aoni dan pengi hogu hawa hasu hogu tutungu na hogu igwinai taku hogu wakwaha taputi kurasono. Manasuju anay sinobing junapot ko manamagu na tempo masihamonu manafamaulek tododo lo ti pareu i tempo tiu malava anai sen hoben junapot ko todo mundo lutan kotan hota logo ai montasinya tapi rata di tempo sati pareu di pareu i tempo tiu malava anai sen hoben junapot ko todo mundo lutan kotan hota logo ai montasinya tapi rata di tempo sati pareu di pareu i tempo lan hasuju anai sen hoben junapot ko manamagu na tempo tibay maleva masihamonu manafamaulek tododo di pareu di pareu
I'm Ed Donahue. The number of dead from Israeli strikes in Lebanon today is close to 500. The warning is out from Israel for people in Lebanon to evacuate. More from the AP's Shelley Adler.
John Alterman is the director of the Middle East program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. And he says Israel just felt it was time to push back on the Hezbollah attacks.
This is the kind of step you need to take, not because you want to defeat Hezbollah comprehensively, but you need to remind Hezbollah of just how much Israel can hurt Hezbollah, can weaken Hezbollah. And if they're interested in self-preservation, they have to back off on the border with Israel.
While Israel preserves the option for a ground war, it is not committed to going further.
My guess is Hezbollah would say now's not really the time to fight that war if we can avoid it.
I'm Shelley Adler.
Faculty have accused the University of California system of labor violations over what they say was a sweeping campaign to suppress pro-Palestinian speech and campus protest across the state earlier this year. In Colorado, Ahmed Alisa faces life in prison. He was convicted of murder for the shooting deaths of 10 people at a supermarket. Here's the AP's Haya Punchwani.
Alisa started shooting immediately after getting out of his car in a King Superstore parking lot in March 2021. He killed most of the victims in just over a minute and surrendered after an officer shot him in the leg.
Alisa has schizophrenia and pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, with the defense arguing he couldn't tell right from wrong. A tropical storm over the eastern Pacific intensified into a hurricane, John, and is ripping toward Mexico's southern coast. Hotels in the tourist city of Puerto Escondido are awaiting instructions from Civil Protection to begin the eventual evacuation of tourists. Stocks finished higher, the Dow up 61 points. This is AP News. A tugboat powered by ammonia sailed for the first time in New York's Hudson River in an attempt to cut carbon dioxide emissions.
Abigail Jablansky is project lead at startup Amegy.
I genuinely do think there's excitement in the industry about this option. I think people have to see it to believe it, which is why we're here.
The tugboat's first sail is a milestone in a race to develop zero-emissions propulsion.
There's just a hesitancy to adopt until people see that it works.
Ammonia does have drawbacks. It's toxic. Nearly all of it currently is made from natural gas in a process that is harmful for the climate. Amegy's technology is different. The tugboat ran on green ammonia produced by a renewable electricity. Julie Walker, New York.
Former Southern California football star Reggie Bush has filed a lawsuit against the school, the NCAA, and the Pac-12 in a bid to recoup money made on his name, image, and likeness during his career with the Trojans 2 decades ago. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy Tiro, and greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news, from a beautiful place with Pacific views, it's always so much fun on Good Morning, Marianas.
I'm grateful for as far as I got. I'm willing and I'm able, so I know I won't stop. I'm sick of all the talk, I wanna plot. Unless the conversation's just me talking to God.
Good morning, Marianas. Good morning. Hey, it is Tuesday morning out here. It is 7:18. It just clicked. 7:18 in the morning here on a rainy Tuesday. 81 degrees out here in Saipan. And it's only gonna get nicer. That's not even a bad day for us at all. 81 degrees outside right now. Humidity crazy high, 94% out there. I'm telling you, at the airport, it's 94%. I was in a cloud this morning, so I think that counts as 100%. I mean, the only other thing I could think of is maybe being underwater counts as 100% humidity, but it was a cloud floating over us. in San Vicente this morning. We're looking at some scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Partly sunny skies with a high near 87 degrees. Winds out of the east very slow, 5 to 7 miles per hour with a 30% chance of rain, or go outside because it's raining. All right, how about tonight? More of the same. Scattered showers, thunderstorms, mostly cloudy skies, low near 78 degrees. East winds, same thing, about 5 miles an hour, getting even calmer than that. So it's looking like we're going to get some more rain, but it's not going to be that bad. We've had worse. We've had worse last week. And the week before that, and kind of the week before that, we had a little bit of everything. Hey, I know, Luisa. Game one, we still might be able to get it going tonight. Game one between the Padres and the Cardinals. It is playoff time here in the Marianas, and the Saipan Baseball League is going on. And I know Millie loves talking about baseball. She's like, why are you talking about baseball? I always have to turn off. I'm like, give it a couple minutes. We're almost there. We're almost past it. Just that we're looking forward to baseball tonight for sure. That stuff's going to be kicking off at 6:30 tonight, as long as it dries up a little bit more today. It definitely rained a bit last night, and we're dealing with it right now. It's not that bad. But it should be good enough for us to get something in there. That's what I'm hoping for, because I mean, it's really not that bad. I mean, it did rain. It was a pretty good rain actually this morning. It rolled through and just dumped on us. We'll see. At least the road outside is paved. Take a look. You don't believe me? Take a look. You were just looking at it. Look at that third rail that they got. The least slick looking lane is the one that just got paved yesterday and last night. And they were working until they finished that part last night. And I'm happy about that, because that means we're that much closer. I mean, look at all those guys heading south right now. It's going to be so much easier for everyone to head south on Beach Road. Well, and north, but at least on the northbound lane, you're able to get back and forth right now, but you can kind of cheat over and get that other lane. The only thing is when are they going to finish that thing up? I know. I'm in that same club. I'm ready for it to be done, for sure. It's the project that'll never end. We are the Cleveland of the Pacific. Hey, it's not that bad, though. You know, what do they say? Red sky at night, sailor take flight. Red sky at morning, sailor take warning. Something like that. I don't know. But all I know is that last night's sunset was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. In fact, we took the time to go out there and check it out. And some of you guys did too. In fact, you showed us and you sent us in your comments some of the photos from sunset last night. So, hey, yeah, sure, it's raining. Is that even terrible? No. But let's take a look at some of those shots. Look at this. This one came from Kurt. That looks like Coral Ocean Point. Oh, my gosh. This is Crafty who sent this one to us as well. These are last night's sunsets, guys. And that's Caleb up north. I mean, it was beautiful last night. When that stuff happens, though, you almost know that the next day, that night it's going to rain, or the next morning it's going to rain. There's moisture on the way. But wow, what a red sky it was last night. Just gorgeous hues. Part of the magic of living in the Pacific, living out in the middle of the ocean, and aside from getting to see everybody and enjoying all this great food. I mean, look, there's the coconut tree, our life-giving tree of the Pacific. It certainly is fantastic. I don't know, but I love it. I'll take it 10 times out of 10. If it means we got to have rain the next day, is that even a bad thing? We're going to be all right. Hey, let's start talking about a few things. We got headlines. Yes, we do. We got headlines. How about you? Hey, today, there's so many different holidays that today is. But the day that we decide to get in there is National Punctuation Day. Today is the day that draws the line between the difference between let's eat grandma and let's eat grandma. Punctuation saves lives. That's today. Today's also National Voter Registration Day. We have the big election coming up on November 5th. It's the midterms, but it also is going to be the election that tells us who is going to take that spot that's been occupied by Kalili for the past 16 years. So if you're not already registered to vote, what are you doing? Get out there, get registered. Commonwealth Election Commission is just down the street. You're good to go. You can't miss it, by the way. Look for all the traffic in Susupi. That's where it is. Right at that intersection with the courthouse and DPS right there out in front by the multi-purpose building. Right out there in front is the Commonwealth Election Commission. They'll take care of you. They've got everything that you need. Oh, man, today is going to be a big day for me. I got some stuff going on with the news van of justice. But also, today is Monday Night Football, and it's the best kind of Monday Night Football. Oh, yeah, I mean, like, if we're going to talk about that for even a second. If we're going to be talking about football for a second, we need something more football-y. I'll tell you today, it's a doubleheader for Monday Night Football. That's right. The Buffalo Bills hosting the Jaguars, and the Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Washington Commanders. Two of the top teams in the NFC, not so much. The only team from the NFC is Washington, and they're not looking all that great this year. The two of the top teams from the AFC, at least some of the ones that have been in the headlines for the last few years, talking about Super Bowl possibilities. I hate saying that for Buffalo because it just sounds like it's an automatic letdown. But let's just say there are a couple of good teams. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills taking on Trevor Lawrence and who are we? Jacksonville Jaguars. And Joe Burrow, man, I don't know what went to his head, but something went to his head. Maybe it's all the bleach. Dude bleached his hair, and they got to try to get back on track. It's got to be a good game tonight. Cincinnati's 0-2 on the season. So is Jacksonville. Washington at least got one win on the year, and Buffalo's untarnished so far, which is more than I could say about the Raiders, who looked just god-awful against the Carolina Panthers. Panthers? I like Panthers. Let's just call them the Panthers, because they are panned out this season. The Panthers, though, actually had a good week. They end up beating them up, the Raiders, for their first win of the season, 36-22. But it wasn't even that close. I mean, because those points came in garbage time. So, for the Raiders. Not a good day for you guys if you're a Vegas fan. And isn't it still, it's still weird to say Vegas fan. I still want to say Oakland. Even when they were the LA Raiders with the Jay Schraders, I did not really think of them as a LA team. And you know who else is a pretty good team, at least perennially, and failed to perform? Dallas Cowboys just got run over by the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. Anyway, the big game's going to come on tonight. We don't normally get a doubleheader on Monday night. That's not a regular deal. And so we're looking forward to, we're going to watch it. We're not going to cover it like super in-depth during the day because we just got a lot going on today. We got the business side of the house. Need to focus on a lot of that. Working on, like I said, that news van of justice right after I get out of here. I got to slide down the back of the dinosaur, get out and get some stuff done to that. And then we move on. It's like Cowtown over here. Oh, man, apologies or condolences to the fans from San Francisco because the Rams stole that win from you. It looked like for sure you guys were going to win yesterday. It was, what a heartbreaker. At the end. And you guys had the... Man, that is a rough way to lose. Not as bad as the Falcons, where all the calls going the way for the Chiefs. But, jeez, I'm telling you, it's a tough one. I don't know how you do it. Being a football fan is not, it's not good for your health. I can tell you that, at least not for Buffalo. But we're going to talk about how I ended up doing last week, for sure. And we might as well start from the beginning. So, I picked the Chiefs to win. Hooray. I picked the 49ers to win. Sad. I did pick Baltimore, right? Did I pick Baltimore? Please tell me I picked Baltimore. Yeah, I picked the Ravens, and they won. Picked the Lions, and they won. Picked the Seahawks, and they won. But I picked the Raiders, not so much. I picked Green Bay, they won. I picked the Buccaneers, and they just got a beat down from the Broncos. Picked the Chargers over Pittsburgh. What was I thinking? Who knew? Who knew that Pittsburgh was going to come big at home? I picked the Saints to keep going. The Saints turned into the Aints against the Eagles, so I lost there too. I picked Minnesota over Houston. Oh, did I? Yeah, I think I did. Let's see. Wait. I was just looking at. Yeah, I did pick Minnesota, and picked the Bears over Indy, and Indy won. Didn't expect that. I picked the Browns over the Giants, but the Giants won. I mean, a mixed bag for me. This is not a good week for me. Some of you guys did okay. Definitely got me beat. But, man, I was hoping. it was going to be a good week for me. Doesn't look like it. There's a few games that got turned over that make you look pretty bad. I'll take it. Can't win them all. You can't win them all. All right, let's move on to the other stuff, because there's plenty more going on here locally. Oh man, I kind of want to talk about that, and I kind of want to talk about that. All right, here just some things to keep your head up about. These are some little things that are happening here in Saipan. I don't know where you guys take your trash. Do you guys get your trash service at your house? Do you guys take it over to the transfer station? Do you take it all the way down to Marpy? Well, there is some new hours of operation. New hours of operation for Lower Base Transfer Station. Monday, Tuesday, no Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 7:45 a.m. to 11:30. Then they get an hour for lunch. Then 12:30 to 3. Closed from lunch again from 11:30 to 12:30. And they're also closed Sundays and Wednesdays. So if you want to drop your trash at the Lower Base Transfer Station, it's not happening on Wednesday. So don't get all grumpy if you head down there. Don't load up on Tuesday night expecting to go there on Wednesday. Now, as far as Marpy goes, the landfill, they're open Monday to Saturday, every day. So if you're going to load your truck up on Tuesday night and you're going to go to Lower Base, just keep going. Keep going north. Marpy landfill's open 8 a.m. to 11:30. They're closed for lunch also 11:30 to 12:30. And then 12:30 to 2:45. I don't know what magically happens after 2:45 or after 3 o'clock and how they get off that early. I'm sure they got to do all the residual cleanup from everybody else coming through that day, making sure everything's all sorted out and good to go. But if you've got any questions about that, you can reach out to them as well. Number is 322-2745, 322-2760. Another one, tomorrow, OVR, the Office of Vocational Rehab, they're going to be closed tomorrow. So if you had a plan to head down there on this Wednesday, they're not going to be available to you. They're going to be closed from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. They've got the Joint State Rehabilitation Council and Statewide Independent Living Council General Membership Meeting at Aqua Resort. That is a mouthful. But if you do want to get some more info about it, give them a call at 287-6538. That's OVR 287-6538. Again, they're going to be closed tomorrow morning for their big general membership meeting at Aqua. So don't get frustrated with that either. They're going to get better for you. And let's keep rolling with it. You know, yesterday got a phone call and someone was asking, hey, did you see that sign that was in the paper in Tinian? Like, what sign? Oh, yeah. There was a story in the paper in Tinian about a sign that's gone up that's telling locals, hey, you better get more money for your land. Don't just give it up for cheap. So see if I can't find it for you. Or if you've got it, you can send it to me. It's an older photo. It's not like it was just out today or something. Hold on. I want to show it. But it's basically telling locals, hey, hold out for more money for your land. If you're not getting such and such dollar amount for your land, then just wait. Because you're kind of jobbing everybody else over. Hold on, I'm scrolling for it right now. I want to tell you about it. But I got the call, and they're like, hey, are you going to talk about that stuff? I'm like, oh, I will, if you guys want to talk about it. So we're going to line that up either this week or next week, but maybe this week. Because, it's important enough to a bunch of people over there. And, to be able to say, I think it's a good move for somebody to say, hey, we better get more money for our land over here. So, oh man, I'm looking back. It doesn't go any further back in the old archives there. Hold on, let me just see what happens. I'm going to try to do a search for it. But I do remember seeing it. I think it was on the front page. Let's see. Tinian land. Let's try that. I don't know how the site search engine works. Oh, here it is. Found it. Construction boom triggers disputes over Tinian property. And here, let me pull this up for you. I will show you this. You go to my little share screen. That's it. That's from the Variety site. Somebody over there sent them a photo. So they put up this photo. It says, Tinian landowners, stand your ground. Don't settle for less than $75 per square meter. Contractors are cashing in. It's your turn to claim what's yours, your land, your power. They need you more than you need them. Together, we can share a fair deal and maximize our worth. Paid for by Anonymous. How about that? How about that? Where is that sign? I mean, it looks like off of Broadway by one of the roundabouts or something. I'm just not sure which one. And that's kind of a big deal. I mean, like, that's got to be people from Tinian saying, hey, let's make sure that we get some more money out of our land. Because this is really it is. It's a seller's market right now. You know, I don't know how much, I don't know who set the idea at 75 per square meter. That sounds like, ooh, you got 1,000 square meters. That's a pretty good amount of money for a little lot in Tinian. And that's a good, I mean, like in Saipan, I think that's a bit much in Saipan for sure. But what they're talking about, again, it says contractors are cashing in. So they're talking about contractors now because that's what's happening. So they're trying to basically push, they want to raise the level of land values in Tinian. And it makes sense because this is that time with all this buildup that's happening. All these people are trying to move over there. They need housing, they need space, they need office space. You name it, they need everything. So who's going to cash in and when? You don't want to wait till it's too late, I guess, right? So I reached out to a couple of folks in Tinian to see if we can't get them on here. So it's going to be whenever they're able to get there. We're going to wait and see if we can't put the schedule together. But I think this is an interesting topic for sure because is everybody happy about that over there? Like, who set the 75? Are people holding out for 75? Like, what's the value right now per square meter? Like, what's typically the amount that folks are getting their land for, getting for their land in Tinian? I mean, is it half that? Is it close to that? I mean, 75 per square meter is a pretty good number. If you're a landowner, you're not going to complain about that. I mean, it'd be nice to have about 10,000 square meters that somebody needs right about that time. And it's a considerable amount. But it's a tough one, too. How do you deal with it if you really need that cash? Do you need that do-re-mi? I don't know. But we got some calls out to the folks in Tinian. If you guys want to talk about it, of course, you can give us a call. Number is 789-2323. 670-789-2323. That is the number. We are available for you to talk about that. You don't have to talk about this stuff. Okay, it's next to the Tinian baseball field. Is that where the baseball field is? Man, that looks like... No, I mean, maybe it is. I mean, I believe it. I believe it. Maybe it's not Broadway then. I see that little fork in the road there, like just a little hint of it in the lower right part. Yeah, I hear you. Buck says, hey, it's good if you have more than one land, but land is really hard to get these days. Yeah. I hear you. I mean, like that's a good point too. And by the way, where do people go if they want to get land? I mean, like in Saipan, like I'm thinking about it. A lot of people, like you said, don't have it. And maybe is that what ends up helping Rhoda? Because the land value in Rhoda has to be low because of how expensive everything else is. I mean, I remember hearing prices for houses, like the price of like a used car over there, because of how expensive it is for everything else. And then you've got opportunists going in there and snatching stuff up from people, which not great. But imagine starting over with everything for Rhoda. I'd say that'd be pretty awesome. I mean, I could conceivably run this thing from Rhoda. It'd be a little weird because all the real context I got for stuff is based out of here. But like doing the broadcast from there, no problem. That's easy enough. I wouldn't have the cool traffic background that we got here. Yeah, or anywhere in Rhoda. Definitely not going to get a lot of traffic. I mean, I could do this in Tinian too, right? Fly back and forth. First class on Star Marianas. Business class. Every seat on Star Marianas is business class. Oh, you don't think so? What kind of material you think those seats are made of? That's leather, baby. Hey, and if you're riding by yourself, like in the back of a limo on those flights back and forth between Saipan and Tinian, every flight's business class. You're able to use your phone. Every seat's a window seat. Yeah. Be a real propeller setter. Be based out of Tinian. And Tinian could be pretty cool too. But you know, if I were to do this in Rhoda, I'd like to be like, it's the only problem is I would be in one of the communication dead spots over there. Because I like those buildings that are right when you get into Song Song. Like right around by where that mobile station used to be. There's a whole bunch of cool buildings over there that are just empty. They've been empty for years, decades. I mean, at least 20 years they've been empty. And they're really nice buildings too. That could be really cool. The hardest part for me is that what do you do as a tourist or a visitor, I should say, as a visitor? When I go to Rhoda, if I don't have something in the refrigerator at 8 o'clock, I have no options. Unless I'm scouring for, I'm hunting a zuzu or cracking open a coconut. There's nothing open after 8 o'clock. There's no little Chinese store that's open till like 24 hours. There's nothing. You just got to prepare. That's why I'm telling you, Rhoda folks are more prepared to deal with economic and natural disasters because they got to prepare for this stuff all the time. Anyway, we're going to see if we can get some folks to talk to us a little bit more about this sign in Tinian and what's going on over there and what the whole deal is. And really, what is the land value over there? Is it this? Is this the amount? Oh, deer hunting, Eric, man. Whew. Yeah. Now, I've heard, speaking of deer hunting, I've heard a couple different things about where to hunt for deer in Rhoda. Like up in Sabana, I hear it's like crazy. But I also heard Wedding Cake, and I've been up in Wedding Cake. I didn't see any deer up there. I know that's where they're saying over there by Tewksbury's where they had the issues with the rhino beetle and stuff, right? I don't know if they finished all that stuff, but it was closed off because of the rhino beetle. And by the way, that should be another question. Why would they close it off? It's not like the rhino beetle will attack you. Are they worried that it's going to hop in your car, hop in your bags or something like that, and then spread through the island that way? I mean, maybe that's the deal. But they were like, that's why they closed off everything over there. Maybe that's the deal. But I like the idea of deer hunting. I like even more the idea of deer eating. Love Binadu, man. I love it. Man, you're eating at the sashimi Binadu with just drinking some Bud Light. That was before Busch Light got big. But I do that with some Busch Light just fine. And some Binadu sashimi. You get some wasabi with the soy sauce. Oh, man, so good. So good. This is what I get for not having breakfast yet. Because that's what I'm about ready for. Well, anyway, now we know what we're... now I'm thinking about breakfast. I started thinking about having some Binadu, like with some eggs in the morning, like some sausage. Oh, venison sausage is so good. Buck says, Rhoda supplies Guam with coconuts. Yeah, no kidding, right? That should be our big export now because Rhoda's got, all those rhino beetles in Guam kind of dealt that out. You know where we've got, if we really want to, if we brought a barge up to Poggen, we could fill like a whole barge worth of coconuts. And we wouldn't even put a dent in what's there. Bring those down to Guam. There's so many coconuts in Poggen. Think of the most dense coconut grove here. There's nothing like it. Although I will say this, if you go in the south of Guam, there is an old village by, there's a trail, there's a point where there's an observation point over there. And it's the one that's right across the street for the trail that takes you up to the top of Mount Lam Lam. And from over there, you can look down and see there's a little placard that explains that there was a village down all the way down by the coast. And there's a pretty awesome coconut grove down there. And I bet there's got to be a trail that gets down there, but it doesn't look like it's a well-traveled trail if there is one. But that was the site of like an ancient Chamorro village. I feel like it's so far removed from everything. If you really want to get off grid and just be and live the traditional lifestyle of like the ancient Chamorro, you could go down there and just do it. But I mean, like, you're living out like way off the grid. Like you're doing coconuts and maybe there's some ungulates that are down there. You can go hunt them. You can fish right there off the water. Nobody's there. There's no place to park. I mean, you have to hike to get down there. And I don't think anybody be messing with you either. You go out there, it would be a rough spot. If there's storms or something, yikes, forget it. But I think you could do it. Man, do you guys know what point I'm talking about? It's not all the way down by you down there in Molesso, Tobat. But it's in that, it's on the way, but not quite there. It's before you go past Lam Lam, then you go down and all those snake. It's way before that. But it's on the coast over there. Don't know the name of it. All right. What's that? Nice. Yes, you're right. It is a good time to mention it. I'll tell you, you definitely wouldn't have, this is going to be a smooth segue. If you were down there and you tried living that traditional style, you would not have coverage. That's great. You wouldn't have coverage from IT&E, but you definitely wouldn't have coverage for Medicaid either. That's so funny. This is so ridiculous, but I love it. I'm going to go with it, though. I'm going to go with it because it's great. Here, let me cue it up. All right, so you definitely wouldn't have coverage, but if you have Medicaid, you have coverage. See how smooth that is? Hey, look. If you've got Medicaid, if you're a Medicaid recipient, if you've got coverage through Medicaid, that means you also have dental coverage. Question is, why aren't you using it? You don't have to wait for a toothache to use your medical coverage. And you know what? You could go down to places that will not turn you away for your Medicaid. That's right. Paradise Dental in Gualarai on Middle Road. They want you. Like Uncle Sam posters, I want you. They want to be your dentist, and they need you to go down there, though. And they can't come to your house. You got to come to them. Give them a call, 234-4040. If you've already got Medicaid, you've already got coverage. That means if you want to get your checkups, you want to get your x-rays, you want to get extractions, you can go there, and it costs you nothing. And if you're 19 and under, just about every single thing is free. We're talking no out-of-pocket expenses at all. So that's your kids. Your kids already got that coverage. Bring them down there. 234-4040. I had a lot of fun with these guys putting this together, so check it out.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. We've got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. come here often.
If you're a person with a disability in the CNMI, you have certain rights that protect your ability to vote. This video contains some information about your rights and some resources available to you in protecting those rights.
What are some of your voting rights as a person with a disability? You have the right to vote regardless of your disability. You have the right to cast your vote privately without disclosing your vote to anyone. But you also have the right to ask for assistance as needed. Polling place workers should be ready and available to assist and accommodate your needs. CNMI law requires that you must be registered to vote in the CNMI. You can vote if you are a citizen or national of the United States, at least 18 years of age on the date of the election, domiciled in the CNMI, a resident of the CNMI, and have resided in the Commonwealth for 120 days, are not serving a sentence for a felony, have not been declared by the court of unsound mind, and have registered to vote at least 60 days before the election.
As a voter with a disability, you have the right to vote in an accessible voting place. That means you can get from your car through the door to cast your ballot without physical barriers or impediments.
Under the CNMI law, any voter who needs help in casting a ballot is entitled to request for assistance. A poll supervisor or the executive director of the Commonwealth Election Commission can provide assistance at the polling place, or you can exercise your right to curbside vote. However, whether you vote at curbside or not is your choice. No poll worker can force you to vote curbside. If you are unable to mark your ballot, you may select up to 2 people to help you cast your vote, except that they cannot be your employer or your employer's agent.
The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 requires public entities to provide progress access, reasonable modification of policy, auxiliary aids and service where necessary to afford an individual with a disability an equal opportunity to participate in and enjoy the benefits of the services, program or activity being conducted by the public entity.
Our primary goal is to have 100% participation of eligible voters in all elections, 100% polling place accessibility, and options for all voters who seek independent and private voting. If you want to know more about your voting rights, please contact the Northern Marianas Protection and Advocacy Systems Incorporated at 670-235-7273 or 74, or you can simply visit our website at www.nmposse.org.
This video was brought to you by the Administration for Community Living and does not necessarily reflect their official views.
All my friends, I'm here waiting for you. All my friends, I'm here waiting for you. Today is a special day. New friends coming up my way. New friends, they know what to say.
All right, welcome back, Marianas. We are here. It's Tuesday. It's only a little rainy. It's not really gloomy. Look, it's already starting to brighten up a little bit out there. You're looking at Olei on Beach Road as traffic's moving smoothly. And look at that newly paved section right down the middle. That's progress, baby. Little by little, it is coming along. They still have to do the whole road in a non-skid cover, but that's not going to be bad. Once it gets done, everyone will be happy. I will be happy. You know, I was thinking about it today, like they end up cutting into a lot of different parking lots and all that other stuff. Do they finish the other side of that parking lot too when they went through? Because I don't know if that's part of their plan. I don't know if that's part of their obligation for what they're doing. All I know is I don't want them to stop while they figure that out. I want them to keep going. But I was happy because they started pouring some concrete right in front of the old studio yesterday and working on it. But like you can see that building right there with the green roof. Like that one's got, usually the whole frontage is a turn-in area. But now that they've got that sidewalk, they've got like a real hard curb on it. So people aren't going to, there's going to be a small spot to go in and out. And it kind of limits their ability to have parking spaces on there. So I wonder if that's going to be, I know that's already happened with some folks. I know that that's happened with some businesses along the way already. So I wonder if that's going to continue to be one of those trends for businesses along the road all the way from here. But either way, that's a problem for another day. We're going to be doing okay here at the, what do we call this building? It's the CETA building. It used to be called the CDA building, and then it used to be called the Morgan building. So it's got a whole bunch of different names, but it all does the same thing by having some great spots. I love being here. I'm so glad that we're here. We got a great location. Our neighbors up here are pretty cool too. And it's just a funky little place. You know why? One of the things I like the most is that we're right across the street from the Shack. And when you got the Shack, you got love. They got great food and they have great people. You think I'm kidding? Go there for yourself. I'm not saying your life's going to be transformed from the moment you walk in the door. But I'll tell you, as soon as you open that door and step in, that you're in a good place. And go check them out for lunch today. They are really amazing, and everything they got is great. Oh, that cheesecake is so good. That is like, I might change my religion for that cheesecake if I had to. Like, it's that good. I mean, it is pretty good. All right. I love this. I love being able to see your comments in different spots. The only thing is that not everyone can see everybody's comments. I don't have one central spot for everybody's comments. So, like, I know there's people watching on the Good Morning Marianas page. There's people watching on the NMI News Service page. I know there's people watching on Island Image and Motion. And I know there's folks who are watching. Where else are they watching? On our YouTube channel, NMI News 670. And I get comments from all those places and from WhatsApp. But again, you guys just can't see them all. That's why this is the coolest thing. All right, man, I'll tell you what. I'm seeing this story again in the paper. This is the same thing. And, I don't dislike this guy. I don't dislike this guy. He's a good guy. He's a good dad. And he's a good guy in our community. He's standing up for what he thinks is right. I just don't think it's on the same page with this one. For this issue, he's a big-time Second Amendment guy. Me too. I'm down with the right to bear arms. I own 3 firearms. Remember, I used to say 2. Now I have 3. So I have firearms. It's great. I got a couple of pistols, and I got a couple of handguns, and I got a rifle. That's it. Oh, it's so cool too. Not that we're going to get onto a gun show topic today, but for this one I will. And what he's looking for, this is Paul Murphy, good guy, and I like his family. Like, I know these guys. Thing is, he's trying to push to get rid of the ban on silencers. And I know people who are on board for this too, but I am not. I'm definitely not on board for it. Now, one of the guys who I really like who's on board for this too says, hey, no, it's a good idea because if somebody breaks into your house or somebody's in your house for whatever reason and you need to put them down, well, if they're like a home invasion or something, you got to put them down. You're not going to be able to communicate after that because it's going to be so loud, pow, pow, pow. People are going to hear the ringing in their ears, bouncing off the walls and all that stuff. I get it. I totally understand that. But there's more nefarious uses for that. I mean, if you're going to be putting folks down in that kind of a scenario inside your house, it's not going to be a big communication thing where you're going to be able to bounce back and everything's fine. It's going to be loud, it's going to be messy, and it's going to be unfortunate, right? And you're going to have to deal with it, and your neighbors will hear it and have to do stuff about that. Hey, good morning, Pilling. Good to see you too. But that's it. I mean, it would be pleasant to not have the sound of the report, but you don't need it. I'm thinking about the pros and the cons. What's the potential downfall of something like this? Potential downfall is that the bad guys have something like that, and it's not as loud too. Yeah, Eric, you made a great point. But with the loud pow, 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 your neighbors will hear it and will call for help too. Well, hopefully they will. But yes, that's it. That's another one of the reasons for it. I mean, unless you're going for some kind of low key assault, right? I don't think you need it. But more importantly, that's just the debate that him and I could have, right? Or just a conversation. Why it's good, why it's bad, or whatever. But the bigger point is, and what he's going to be going on this, is we might never see might never be on the same page for that, just based on what he likes, what I like, what he thinks makes sense, what I do. But the overarching issue is, does that violate your Second Amendment right to own arms? And I don't think so. Not at all. Because this doesn't say you can't have a firearm. That thing's not a firearm. That thing is an accessory, right? You can't have every kind of accessory. You can't do anything you want to those firearms anyway. So, like, think about it. Like I have if you've got like an AR-15, if you file down the sear, you can make that a fully automatic weapon. Are you allowed to file down the sear? No, you are not. So that's one thing you can't do. Now, does that mean it's a violation of your right to bear arms? No. I'm just saying that you can't have an automatic weapon if you by filing down the sear. Same like the other things you can't do. You can't file down the serial number on that firearm. Can't do that either. And that is not an infringement on your right to bear arms. So it's not a Second Amendment violation. Again, this is me. This is the overarching thing. I don't think that at all is a violation of that. And that's where this goes to. According to this court filing, he's saying that it violates your Second and 14th Amendments. And I can't see at all how not letting someone have a suppressor. And we're not talking about a muzzle, like a flash suppressor. That's different. What's a flash suppressor? Oh, well, when you fire a weapon, you've seen, even if you aren't a firearms person, like if you've never had a gun or anything, if you have you've seen the movies, you fire a weapon, whether it's like this or whether it's like this, you'll see that there's the big flash at the back, or coming out of the barrel, right, when the bullet comes out. And for they do actually make that for pistols too. But a lot of times, like for rifles and stuff like that, you'll see where there's something at the end, and it just suppresses the flash. Especially back in the military times when I was in, it was so your enemy doesn't see it as much as when you fire, right? So you got a flash suppressor. But the sound one, that's the thing. Same thing, and this, again, it's just to suppress the sound. And I can't see a good reason. I'm going to get off the subject about like whether or not I think it's a good idea. But because then that's just going to be us talking about my thoughts. And I'll take your thoughts on it too, But I think the bigger thing is that from a legal standpoint, I don't think that this violates at all your right to bear arms. So we have a fundamental disagreement on that one. They think it's a good idea. I just do not. Now, that said, whether you like it or you don't, we are allowed to have firearms in the CNMI. And what I do like is that it now does not cost you $1,000 to get a firearms license. Right? That was a big deal. In order to get a handgun, so handguns you could have them, but you had to pay $1,000 to get a license to have one. Now that ruled out a big amount of the community for sure. And so you could say that was an infringement on the Second Amendment right. And that's what he fought for initially, and it worked. And so he got that overturned. So now if you want to get a firearm license, it doesn't cost you $1,000. Not having $1,000 is no longer $1,000 is no longer that obstacle to get to it, and it opens the door for more responsible weapons ownership. So that part's good. So I like that he's a champion for the Second Amendment right. I just don't think this is one of them. I don't think this is one of those things that he's got to do on that. All right. Have I beaten that one to a pulp? I think so. Anyway, it'd be a good conversation. If anyone wants to talk about that one, we could do that more in depth. I mean, if he wants to get in and talk about it, I think that would be pretty good too. I had his contact information, but his is one of the numbers that I lost with my contacts. So many folks I ended up losing when my phone died of my own mistake. I know, but still. Although I'll tell you what, we're going to do something. Speaking of that phone, I'm going to be doing something. I got a guy, Ron Smith from Engel Design. I was talking to him about it yesterday. Just like, can you believe it? Conversations yesterday. And he's like, I got software that maybe we can recover that stuff. I'm like, really? All right, so we're going to give it a try. I'm going to juice up the phone, get it some battery. It's just been sitting there doing nothing. Remember when I started taking it apart? I never got back to it because I got too much work stuff going on over here. I put it all back together. It's okay. But he's going to see if he can't regain all the other stuff. And one of the things I really want were like the old photos and everything. So I will let you guys know if that works. And if it does, I'll tell you that he's the guy to go to. Because I just can't access that stuff. Hey, Alex, good to see you. Man, I'm telling you, we are on the same page. We definitely want that weather to work out for us so that we can watch baseball. We definitely want that tonight. All right, guys. Well, it's 8:05 in the morning, and when 8 o'clock hour hits, so does the update from the Associated Press. So we're going to get that to you. Top of every hour, we bring you the latest from the Associated Press, and so we're going to do that for you right now. So get yourself ready to get updated.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Israeli strikes today in Lebanon killed close to 500 people. The Lebanese Health Ministry puts the toll at 492, with more than 1,600 wounded. It's the deadliest barrage since the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah war. Joe Fetterman reports from Jerusalem.
Israel has now begun using a tactic that we've seen in Gaza. It has issued evacuation orders to villages in Lebanon where it plans on striking. Israel says Hezbollah uses these areas to hide its weapons. Hezbollah shows no signs of backing down. It continues to fire these heavy barrages of rocket fire that have crippled life across northern Israel. The Israelis say if things do not quiet down, they are going to take even tougher action.
The man accused in the apparent assassination attempt on Donald Trump in Florida this month will stay behind bars. Sagar Magani has more.
The government says Ryan Ruth left behind a note detailing his plans to kill the ex-president, and in his car kept a list of dates and places Trump was to appear. The new allegations were in a detention memo filed before a hearing where prosecutors argued Ruth should remain locked up as a flight risk and threat to public safety. A magistrate agreed. Trump, meantime, says the Justice Department's downplaying the apparent attempt on his life by bringing gun charges that are a slap on the wrist. Prosecutors indicate much more serious charges are coming. Sagar Magani, Washington.
A verdict in Boulder, Colorado. A mentally ill man who killed 10 people at a supermarket in 2021, guilty of murder. Ahmad Alisa now facing life in prison. A federal jury in Texas cleared a group of Trump supporters and found one person liable in a civil trial over a so-called Trump train that surrounded a Biden-Harris campaign bus in 2020. And the latest FBI statistics show violent crime dropped again last year, down an estimated 3%. This is AP News. California is suing ExxonMobil, alleging it's been deceiving the public for half a century about plastics and recycling. Boeing's making what it calls a best and final offer to striking union machinists. The proposed contract would raise pay by 30% over 4 years and includes larger bonuses. And Seth Sutel has the AP Markets report.
Stocks edged higher in quiet trading on Wall Street, enough to mark some more record highs. The S&P 500 rose 0.3% Monday. The benchmark index is coming off its fifth weekly gain in the last 6. The Dow added 61 points. That's about 0.1%. Both indexes set their latest all-time highs last week. The Nasdaq Composite rose 0.1%. Tesla closed higher, wiping out the last of its losses for the year. The electric vehicle maker added 4.9%. Treasury yields held relatively steady in the bond market. The yield on the 10-year Treasury note edged up to 3.75%. Seth Sutel, New York.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
If you're a person with a disability in the CNMI, you have certain rights that protect your ability to vote. This video contains some information about your rights and some resources available to you in protecting those rights.
What are some of your voting rights as a person with a disability? You have the right to vote regardless of your disability. You have the right to cast your vote privately without disclosing your vote to anyone. But you also have the right to ask for assistance as needed. Polling place workers should be ready and available to assist and accommodate your needs. CNMI law requires that you must be registered to vote in the CNMI. You can vote if you are a citizen or national of the United States, at least 18 years of age on the date of the election, domiciled in the CNMI, a resident of the CNMI, and have resided in the Commonwealth for 120 days, are not serving a sentence for a felony, have not been declared by the court of unsound mind, and have registered to vote at least 60 days before the election.
As a voter with a disability, you have the right to vote in an accessible voting place. That means you can get from your car through the door to cast your ballot without physical barriers or impediments.
Under the CNMI law, any voter who needs help in casting a ballot is entitled to request for assistance. A poll supervisor or the executive director of the Commonwealth Election Commission can provide assistance at the polling place, or you can exercise your right to curbside vote. However, whether you vote at curbside or not is your choice. No poll worker can force you to vote curbside. If you are unable to mark your ballot, you may select up to 2 people to help you cast your vote, except that they cannot be your employer or your employer's agent.
The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 requires public entities to provide progress access, reasonable modification of policy, auxiliary aids and service where necessary to afford an individual with a disability an equal opportunity to participate in and enjoy the benefits of the services, program, or activity being conducted by the public entity.
Our primary goal is to have 100% participation of eligible voters in all elections, 100% polling place accessibility, and options for all voters who seek independent and private voting. If you want to know more about your voting rights, please contact the Northern Marianas Protection and Advocacy Systems Incorporated at 670-235-7273 or 74, or you can simply visit our website at www.nmposse.org.
This video was brought to you by the Administration for Community Living and does not necessarily reflect their official views.
Good morning, Marianas, and welcome back. It is 8:11 here on Tuesday morning, and we are enjoying a nice little rainy day. It's 81 degrees out here in Saipan up at the airport. The humidity is 94%, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit like this throughout the day. It's not that bad. It can get worse, so let's enjoy what we got. Oh, I don't know if you know this song, but man, it brings me back a little bit. But I was thinking about, what would be the appropriate song for me to talk about what's going on with the latest, with IPI. Oh my gosh, these guys. Oh gosh, why do we listen to these guys for anything? Well, what they want to do now, they want to sell all their stuff, which they've already started against their will, right? They weren't even allowed to do it. So now they're trying to get more buyers to sell to buy their property and buy everything. Why? They're filing for, we just need to, by we, I mean the government itself just needs to seize this property and sell it on its own, because they owe so much money to the CNMI, over $100 million. How could they possibly be good stewards for even selling this stuff? They just want to get out from underneath it. In fact, they tried getting the other guy, and then the other guy didn't show up or show that he's got it. Look, they're just trying to control everything with it. The thing is that they've got nothing left to control. Even the folks in Hong Kong don't want them to even be a company. They said, you're not a company. you are completely not a company anymore. We're the only ones talking to them as if they are a company. And so what they're looking at doing now is trying to get some help from the courts so that they can sell their business on their own. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're like, oh no, we got a plan. We have a plan. We are going to do it the right way this time. We are going to hire this company to take care of the sale of us. They're going to find the right people. Company's called Intrepid Investment Bankers, LLC. Wow. That sounds like they think a lot of themselves for sure. And what they want to do is have them find buyers who haven't been tapped yet. Apparently because they're marketing it the wrong way. That's what they say. Like, no, we should do it differently. This investment banker, here's the quote from their request. The investment banker will bring the necessary expertise and industry connections to the market to market the business effectively as a holistic business. Should this approach not succeed, the real estate broker proposed by the debtor can then proceed with the real estate sale. Oh no, look, guys, just shut up. They should change the name of IPI to JSU. JSU International. Just shut up. Because whatever they say, I mean, they can't, they have either broken or sought to change every single agreement they've had with the CNMI since they got here. What they have to say about this doesn't matter. You know, they're like the black sheep of the family. But they're not family. Like, just get these guys out of there. Stop talking to them. Like, again, just shut up international is what they are. In fact, what a great art project it would be is just to go there and paint sad faces on all those golden children that are out in front of that building. Which is, by the way, isn't that the weirdest? Isn't that just the weirdest picture that they have? Like, or not picture, but their statue choice. We're going to put some golden children playing in a fountain underneath a whole bunch of dolphins. Like, why? Like, did you forget what it looks like? Hold on. There's plenty of pictures of IPI in the internet. So let's go just find this one. It doesn't even look good. Hold on. Where are we at? Let's find it. I literally just got this thing. All right. Well, I don't care. We'll just take the one from the paper right now because I don't want to mess with this all day long. Cancel. We'll just go for the sure. Yeah, but anyway, so I know that people have talked about it, and it looks so gaudy, and all their style choices and all the other stuff. I know. I mean, like, what are you going to do? They've got giant Poseidons with the tridents. I'll tell you what, though. Those giant tridents that they've got, it'd be kind of neat to have at the house. I don't know what I would really do with it, but it would be kind of neat to have one of those out in front. They let fish know where they stand. Right. And aquatic mammals. Sure. Yes. Diversity. But all that gold leaf stuff, how long before that stuff starts just black molding all over the place? You know, the shame of it is it's not that bad. Yeah, it's a little bit much for Saipan, but it's not that bad of a looking building if they actually could finish it. But will it ever get finished? I don't know. I mean, how long before that security team is not there anymore and that place just gets completely gutted? I mean, there's nothing in there anyway, right? But I mean, like, all the copper wiring. They still have a crane. I tell you, that's got to be a monument to cranes. How long are those things supposed to last? How long are they supposed to stay up? How many typhoons are they supposed to go through? I'm just checking your comment here, Pilling. IPI and the local leaders that brought the investor to our CNMI are complete clowns and it's affecting our progress for greatness to move forward. Time to say adios, IPI. That's right. IP out of here. Like, that's it. And they're so unapologetic about the whole thing. Not that they have to apologize, because they just say that they're going to do something. Oh, we have a plan. Oh, we're going to do this. Oh, we're going to do that. They're not going to do anything because they haven't done anything. And I'm not just kicking a guy when he's down. They were just bad for us from the jump. Right? Because they were bad for us then, and they're bad for us now, and they're just going to keep being lousy for us. That's the legacy of this place. And now they want us to believe that they have a better plan for how to sell their stuff. These are the same folks who told us they're not going to sell. They got a plan. We're going to come back. We're just going to regroup. No. The only people worse than IPI are the people who enabled them to be around for a long time. I mean, those guys are retiring, or they're already retired, but they should never have another spot in our not in our government anyway. So Luisa says, I was in the States at the time, so I'm not sure, but didn't the public vote against IPI, but the government went ahead and did it anyway? I'll tell you all about that. So here's the deal. Come on. This is how IPI went down. Many moons ago, former Governor Ralph Torres was the Senate president, and he went on a trip paid for by these Chinese folks, along with former Senate president and multi-time mayor of Tinian, Frank Borja. These guys wined them and dined them, paid for their whole trip. None of this recorded as a gift or anything at all. And they came back with this lavish plan that they're going to save the retirement fund / settlement fund. They're going to give us a whole bunch of money by putting up a casino over here. They're going to bring a whole bunch of money through here. We are going to fix it. This is your one-stop shop to fix everything. Here we go. And I'll tell you what, there was enough money that came through, and it did for a little while. But that spigot stopped flowing for a long time ago. Anyway, so they come back from this trip, and they tell everybody, guys, this is the plan. Let's get together, and let's push this through. It's either this or nothing. And then the Tinian Dynasty folks caught wind of this, and they're like, hey, we could do this too. And they're like, holy crap, there's another one. Well, we got to make sure that our guys get this. Our Macau guys get this. Or our Hong Kong guys get this. So how are we going to do this? So they go back and forth after telling everybody Best Sunshine, IPI, was going to be the best thing for us. Now they have to go against this Tinian Hong Kong entertainment company. A Tinian Gaming, I forget what it was. But whatever the Tinian Dynasty people were. And they started going back and forth. Well, we're going to do... They came out with this, like an RFP, a request for proposal for somebody to build a hotel casino resort. And it has to be at least 2,000 rooms. And you can't use existing properties. You have to build all new stuff. And you have to add all these different conditions. 2,000 rooms. It's got to be like at least a $2 billion investment. Then these guys started coming up with the most ridiculous stuff. I feel like they were sitting around, like one was like, oh, we'll do this many billion. Oh, we'll do this billion. It got to a point where, and then they had these artist renderings with no property in mind, by the way. They had artist conceptions of what this resort's going to look like on the beach without even having any beach in mind. And then saying that it was going to be like a $7.1 billion facility, which is what IPI said they were going to do. Ridiculous. Why would they say it would be so much? Because I think they didn't even believe their own BS anymore. They're like, well, why just say 2? Screw it. Why don't we just say 3? And I bet someone else is like, oh, well, since we're getting crazy, let's just say 7. I don't know why 7. Oh, you know why they probably went 7.1? I think 8's a lucky number in China. So they're like, we'll just call it 7.1. It's never going to happen. They said it was going to happen. They're like, all right, so here's our plan. So when this happened, it went to a vote with this committee who's going to choose between the 2 bids, between the Dynasty folks and the IPI folks. And, everybody went for IPI because the fix was in for that anyway. Not that the Tinian Dynasty folks were any better, but at least they finished something and got something started. They knew how to launder money efficiently. And that should have been on their application. You think you're going to let these guys come in? We have proven that we can launder money. Anyhow, IPI gets in. And at that time, I was with the KSPM. And we were covering it. And Jillian, my co-anchor, she ended up getting a great interview with this guy from Asian Gaming magazine. And guy whose name single-handedly solves Middle East peace because his name's Mohammed Cohen. Anyway, he says, look, that IPI company that's going to back this thing, they don't have the money that they're talking about in this. There's no chance. Everything says that maybe they're a $120 million company. They can't do this $1 billion, $7 billion. It'll never happen. In a million years, it won't happen. Here's what's going to happen. This is 11 years ago, 10 years ago, when this interview happened, way before all this stuff started. He said, look, they don't have the money, so they're going to need to raise some money. So here's what they're going to do. They're going to ask to try to build like a little, they'll call it like a training facility and try to generate a lot of money through that. And then they're going to build something smaller, but they will never build that $7.1 billion place. It's exactly what happened. Remember when they had that Best Sunshine Live at DFS? That was it. And they ran a ton of money through there. So much money through there. But a lot of money only got chalked up as debts that they never made. And that's why they said they couldn't complete what they were doing because they could never go after the debts, billions of dollars worth of debts that people racked up through them. Well, at least millions, hundreds of millions. But they never made it. And that's why the value of their stock is garbage. Oh, he also talked about the value of their stock. He said because 90% of it's owned by the family, the one family. So they can artificially move the value of that stock on their stock exchange in Hong Kong. And look what happened. He said probably what they're going to try to do is buy something else that's already existing and try to get a change. And that's exactly what they were going to try to do. They were going to try to get Marianas Resort. And that's how Camp Pacific got pushed out. So IPI was never going to finish, even if they finished this thing in Garapan, that wasn't going to satisfy their room requirements. They actually tried to make it even less room, so we called them out on that because it went through public lands. The CNMI government back at that time was rubber stamping whatever IPI wanted. Okay, all this, that's all the history of that. Sorry, here's, to go back to your original question, Louisa. You said, let me scroll up because I remember what you said, but I want to make sure I said. You said, I was in the States at the time, so I'm not sure, but didn't the public vote against IPI, but the government went ahead with it anyway? Okay, so getting back to that. So again, it was former Senate President Ralph Torres, former governor, but when he was Senate President, and former Senator Frank Borja from Tinian. They got wined and dined, and they came back, they're like, we got to figure this out. Because yes, people of Saipan, not CNMI, the people of Saipan voted against the casino. Now, the people of Tinian voted for the casino for Tinian. They said yes, so they got it. The people of Rota they voted for a casino. They said yes, so they got it. The people of Saipan voted for a casino, and they voted no, overwhelmingly. No gots. And they did it again. No. So what these guys did, they changed it. They changed the vote to the whole CNMI. So the vote was from Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. not just Saipan, because the people in Saipan were overwhelmingly saying no. Or it was close enough to where when they opened it up to the whole CNMI, the vote got through. Were people paid off? I don't know. But were they heavily influenced? Yes. They said, this is what's going to save our Commonwealth. This is what's going to save our retirement. Don't you care about the retirees? What about the Manumko? You know, like, okay. So they jammed that down people's throat. And I'll tell you what, fear is a hell of a motivator. The Manumko were brought out, paraded, saying, we need our 25%, you know, because it was failing. The retirement fund, the settlement fund was failing. They were losing, they were going to lose it. And I get it, because it is a crappy system that was set up. And the CNMI government and the CNMI structure wasn't built to be able to sustain it, like a pyramid scheme. But, and that makes you want to go for it if it makes sense, right? So the whole CNMI got to get in there, and they said, look, if you don't do this, your retirees are going to be screwed. So you got to do it. We're going to open it up. If you don't do it, then you don't care about the retirees. That's it. So it got pushed through. So Rhoda can do for Rhoda, Tinian could do for Tinian, but Saipan couldn't do for Saipan is what happened. Now, that kind of sucked. I also think that the part two of that is that, again, their RFP was so specific. It was supposed to be like they didn't expect anyone else to throw an offer in. That's where it screwed everything up. It was so specific because they wanted it to be that IPI company. Then the guys from the dynasty said, well, no, we want in. And then that threw a wrench into their plan. And then they had to edge them out. And in the process, all of those things that kept, all those lies and siding up with such a bad company for the wrong reasons ended up coming back to us on that Can Pacific deal. Because when these guys could not do what they said that they were going to do, the CNMI again was going to make an adjustment to the original plan and let them get Can Pacific. Well, you know what? The true state of their finances came to pass. And then they couldn't do that. So we screwed over a 40-year investor in our Commonwealth. Kicked him out. Kicked all those employees to the curb. You're like those same people who are running right now, who are talking about the Hyatt, saying, you know, how could this happen, you know, under this party's watch or anything like that. Those people who are saying that, like who are part of that party, are the same people who kicked all those employees from Can Pacific to the curb. All of them. There was no, we need them. No. It was like, yeah, hand me another skin flute IPI, and I'm ready to play. Like, that was it. Like, it's the same folks. The same folks who are might be blaming our current governor about what was going on with the Hyatt are the same people that had no problem kicking the Can Pacific folks to the curb, who have been here for 40 years before that. For the new shiny girl who rolled up from IPI. You know, I'm telling you, it was just not cool. And that's why Marianas Resort doesn't have an owner. And that's why it's been vacant and rotting, and the golf course looks like crap. Like overgrown and everything. And the facilities up on top of the hill are all falling apart. It all comes back to this rotten deal that was done more than 10 years ago. And you got to remember that those are those people. Now, if you want to go for the silver lining, instead of just blah, blah, complain. The good news is, or the good side of that story is that I believe that they really did care about the Monamco. And they really cared about the settlement fund, and they wanted to find a solution to all that stuff. But somewhere along the way, I guess they got greedy and screwed everything up. It really sucks. Because I'll tell you, IPI could have been really cool. I liked it. Not the company. But I liked that casino. And I'm not a big casino goer, but I went a few times and it was fun. I really loved their restaurants. Their restaurants were great. But you could tell early on that these guys could not do it. But we did whatever they wanted. We changed everything. There's people who are blaming the CNMI for the demise of IPI. That is not what happened. They're like, our local leaders, they asked for too much bribe. I'm like, no, dude. You think that's what happened with IPI? IPI was a bunch of liars who went in here, and they made all kinds of land deals. Chinese were all over this place. Hey, why you're racist against Chinese? I'm not at all. I'm talking about like this kind of influence. These guys came in here. It's like the same thing about Americans or whoever. Like this was the Chinese who came in, splashing money all around, giving people all kinds of sweet deals on their land. That was for influence, and they got it. For real, Luisa, they didn't just take 30. They took all the they took the bag, and they did. You know, like I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised that some of these guys still live here. But that's the way. You know, like I get it because no one wants to hate anybody. But there are people who just legitimately screwed us over. Some of them might have been well-intentioned, at least at first. And then it was just downright dirty. So that's just my perspective of it. But I know but some of that is just exactly how it went down. But, you know, you get a lot of opinion thrown in that one. But that's where it came from. All right? So it wasn't that the CNMI forced it on anybody, but it was they forced it, meaning like there was a vote, but it wasn't left to Saipan. It was the votes from Rhoda and Tinian that helped tip the scale of the casino in favor of the casino. No, it's not bad against Rhoda and Tinian. Come on. Just telling you that's where the votes came from. And one thing about Tinian, they stick together. They vote. You tell them where to go, they do it. Now, they got some strong influence over there. Rhoda, I don't know as much about, but I know that they're great. Tobot, you the man, dude. Good to see you, partner. Oh man, so that's the IPI story. Best that I know, best that I could say. And then again, so anyway, like that guy said, that Mohammed Cohen said they'll never be able to do it. They'll keep coming up with excuse after excuse. It'll never get done. I wish I could find the original interview for that. If I could dig it up, I'll play it. But that's what it was. It was like they'll come up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. It will never ever get finished. And that was before they broke ground. He said that stuff. So, what were some of the other things? But they splashed a lot of money when they first got here. IPI wasn't all bad. I mean, it was rotten how they got in. But they put out some cash at the beginning, for sure. Remember the big bribe that everybody got for CUC? They put in $10 million into CUC when I was still there at CUC. So everybody, I think it worked out to be about like $600 each into your CUC credit. I don't remember the exact, I think it was around $600 or something. Maybe it was a little bit more. And so it was going to be like a little, hey, that was like that. They had to give so much money to the community. That was part of their rule. Or one of their stipulations. Excuse me. And And they did. It was great. I mean, I definitely loved getting that money. And then what they ended up doing, not everybody used that $600. So if they didn't use it within a couple of months, what it did, CUC put all the unused IPI money, pulled it back from everyone's account, and then like whooshed it around again, and then put it back into everybody's account equally. I think it came out to like another like $150 or something. So you had to use, like, it wasn't your credit in your account until you use it. Because if you didn't use it within the time allotted, I want to say it was 3 months, then it went right back in to everybody. So we got a double dose of that for sure, because we used all of it the first time, and then we used what was left of it the second time. That was nice. Also, what's another thing they did? They hired a lot of people. Remember they had CSRs? It was called, corporate social responsibility. If that to me is the most communist sounding thing anyway. But they hired all these folks. It gave them jobs to do stuff all around the community. Got them t-shirts, had them going out, do beach cleanups, clean up in the neighborhoods and all that other stuff. I have nothing bad to say about that. That was outstanding. They gave a lot of people jobs that didn't have jobs. And, you know, those people who were getting those jobs felt great about themselves. They felt like they were really making a difference in our community. And you know what? They were. They were making a difference. They were going into the villages and doing all these cleanup projects. It was really good. You can't talk smack about that at all. They put money in. So all those folks who were talking smack about them back then, you know, it's like, yeah, but they're actually doing it. Who's going to do it if they're not doing it? Nobody's going to step in and fill this one. But again, it was all like, felt like just a lot of lies going around. So, but they put their money where their mouth was at the beginning. And it was exciting to see some of that stuff. I think like the selection of where they chose to build the property was a big deal. That was a really big deal. And I don't remember with any clarity the specifics about it, but I felt like that part got forced in. Because that's where the old Samoan housing area was. I know that that's not what everyone refers to it as. The people who are most upset about it, they were saying it was like an old village site and a burial ground. But that's what it just used to be a bunch of trees. At that time. I'm not downplaying it, the significance of the area at all. But I mean, like, that's what it was. It was just a big tree-filled area along a swampy area on the side of the road because that drainage over there was just awful. Just like an open pit sewer. So, I mean, like, it really was. Where you see that sidewalk that follows down the road in front of the casino, that's all covered up. It used to just be an open, nasty smelling runoff water pit that went out into the lagoon. It was nasty. It was so nasty. So is it an improvement? Yeah. But still, ugh. All right, that's my IPI stuff, I guess, for now. I didn't think I was going to go down that much of a thing, but that's where this show is all about. You guys got an idea? Yeah, I'm with you, Ray. The whole island is a burial ground. Yeah, it is. But, like, that was like a settlement area. You know what I don't like, though, is that when they ended up interring the remains they found there, it was just such a crummy little area. I mean, like, it's not all that great of a look. I'm sorry. We got other good looks of things. I'll tell you what. You'll look a lot better after you get a workout. Nice segue. I got a good workout in yesterday. I feel great, and I'm going to keep doing this stuff, and maybe you guys will end up doing this part. And, Tobot, shucks. But this is it's a great deal to get out there and start feeling active again. I know soccer started up for us on Sunday, but it's just a good reminder, like, holy crap, you got to take care of yourself. And you got to focus on yourself somehow. You don't have to be all on yourself, but at least you got to take care of yourself. You know, one of the things that I've heard from folks as they get older is that they would have taken a lot better care of themselves if they knew they were going to live that long. Well, don't let that become you. I'm going to try to make sure that doesn't become me. And one of the ways you could do that is by going to the newest facility for exercising and getting fit in the CNMI. It's right on Beach Road. It's just down the road from us at the base of the Aquarius Beach Tower. Laddie Built 24-hour fitness. They've got all the greatest stuff. They've got great weights. They've got great free weights. They've got great machines. They've got the treadmills, the saunas, the spin bikes, the cold plunge, supplements, gear, you name it, they got it. The only thing they need is you. So head on down there and find out why Laddie Built 24-hour fitness is, why they should be fitting you into the fitness.
Persistence of build, be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a Lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence of build, be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
It's a great day to be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. Probably is not great to be down. I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Motion.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who can handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it, and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, is just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're gonna figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution? They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there, and you can choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your calls disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E.
AP Sports, I'm David Schuster. Action galore around the NFL. We start in Minnesota, where Sam Darnold's resurgence continued as he threw 4 touchdown passes, with Minnesota remaining undefeated, beating Houston 34-7.
We were able to execute at a high level in the red zone. Hit a little bit of a lull in the third quarter there, but we'll clean those things up. But obviously, very happy with the win and the way that able to execute today.
Another 3-0 team is the Seattle Seahawks, who downed Miami 24-3 behind Zach Charbonnet's 2 rushing touchdowns.
We always talk about closing the gate. So, for the offense, that was kind of our moment right there to be able to close the gate and go put 7 and, just be on the attack right there. And, I think we did a great job.
Speaking of great jobs, how about the one Andy Dalton turned in on Sunday? Dalton replacing Bryce Young threw 3 touchdown passes, with Carolina winning its first game 36-22 at Las Vegas.
For me to get an opportunity to be out there and for it to go the way it did, couldn't have drawn it up any better. I thought our guys came out with the right attitude, the right mentality from the start, and we never slowed down. And that was the fun part about it.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are sure having fun, still undefeated. Josh Roundtree has that story.
Justin Fields passed for and ran for a touchdown, lifting the Steelers to a 20-10 win over the Chargers. Fields completed 25 of 32 passes for 245 yards in the win.
At the end of the day, my teammates helped me be great. So shout out to them, shout out to our defense, shout out to everybody else on the offense for pushing me each and every day at practice. And, it's just a credit to them.
Calvin Austin pulled in 95 receiving yards, including a 55-yard score, and Najee Harris racked up 70 rushing yards. Pittsburgh's defense limited the Chargers to only 168 yards of offense and knocked L.A. quarterback Justin Herbert out of the game in the second half with an ankle injury. The Steelers moved to 3-0. L.A. is 2-1.
We move to Nashville, where Jeremy Gover fills us in on a quarterback getting some revenge Sunday.
Backup quarterback Malik Willis led the Green Bay Packers to a decisive victory over the team that drafted him, the Tennessee Titans, 30-14. Willis, starting in place of the injured Jordan Love, was drafted by the Titans in the 3rd round of the 2022 NFL Draft. To thank them, Willis went 13 of 19 for 202 yards and a touchdown through the air and added 6 carries for 73 yards and a score on the ground. Tennessee quarterback Will Levis was sacked 8 times, the most by a Packers defense since January 2nd, 2005. Despite a career night for himself, Willis credits the defense with the victory.
Oh my goodness, they went crazy. That was amazing. 8 sacks, right? Oh my goodness, that was super. I mean, they won the game for us. If we want to say that, them guys did great. Everybody deserved a game ball. I'll pay how much money out of my pocket to everybody. They keep doing that.
Running back Jonathan Taylor with a couple of scores as Indianapolis won its first game on the season, 21-16 over Chicago.
I think it's a testament to the guys up front. I mean, I've been with them for 5 years now, so just being able to continue to build on that continuity, I just think it's showing. I have the utmost confidence. Any play that we call, I feel like it's going to work just because I know the work that they put in and day out.
In other games, the New York Giants 21-15 over Cleveland. Philadelphia behind 147 yards rushing and 2 scores from Saquon Barkley, 15-12 over New Orleans. Denver 26, Tampa Bay 7. Derrick Henry 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. Baltimore beating Dallas 28-25. The Rams got a late field goal to beat San Francisco 27-24. Detroit 20-13 over Arizona. And Dave Ferry has a report on the Sunday night game between Kansas City and Atlanta.
Patrick Mahomes threw for 2 touchdowns, and the Chiefs' defense stiffened down the stretch for a 22-17 win over the Falcons.
We haven't played good. I mean, really all 3 games. We've been able to win. I mean, that speaks to the character of the team, the grit, how we've been in these situations before.
Atlanta got deep into the red zone twice over the final 8 minutes, but turned the ball over on downs both times. Trailing 14-7 late in the first half, the Chiefs received 3 straight Harrison Butker field goals before Mahomes hit Juju Smith-Schuster for a 13-yard TD with 1:16 left in the third. Rashee Rice grabbed 12 passes for 110 yards and a TD for 2-1 KC. Kirk Cousins passed for 230 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception for the 1-2 Falcons.
Coming up, the day in baseball. Major League Baseball Sunday, and another day with another dubious record by the Chicago White Sox, who dropped a 4-2 decision at San Diego. That's loss number 124 this season, a new American League modern-day mark, and tying the all-time Major League modern-day record of the 1962 Mets. Here's White Sox interim manager Grady Sizemore.
It's not something we're focused on. I think probably everyone outside of this clubhouse will be more obsessed with it than us. We're just going to put this one behind us and get ready for the next series back home.
Elsewhere, Aaron Judge hit home run number 55. The Yankees 7-4 over Oakland. Shohei Ohtani number 53. The Dodgers 6-5 over Colorado. Detroit moved into a wild card spot in the American League, 4-3 over Baltimore. The Mets are still up 2 in the National League wild card spot, beating the Phillies 2-1. Pittsburgh 2-0 over Cincinnati. Boston took a pair from Minnesota 8-1 and 9-3. Atlanta 5-4 over Miami. Tampa Bay 4-3 over Toronto. The Angels edging Houston 9-8. Milwaukee nipping Arizona Arizona 10-9. San Francisco blanking Kansas City 2-0. St. Louis 2-1 over Cleveland. The Cubs shutting out Washington 5-0. And Texas 6-5 over Seattle. I'm David Schuster, AP Sports.
All righty, folks. Well, we're not there yet. We still got a few minutes left, but not a whole lot. We are winding down. You can see traffic's moving along just fine on Beach Road in Olei. Everybody's moving and shaking. Cars heading south in one lane in a nice orderly fashion. And then you got folks dodging the cones. Like, is the lane closed or not? I don't know. But look at it. It's like a slalom course. I'm watching that pickup zoom through. Oh, now that one's followed by the car. It is. It's a slalom course. It's fun. You can go zig. You can zag. You can do whatever you want on Olei. Enjoy it while you can. Eventually, there's going to be some painted lines out there, and you're going to have to stay between them, just like coloring between the lines. Hey, I'll tell you, I don't know. I should be doing more of this because there's so many of you living out there in Guam that are watching us, which is great. Maybe we'll start doing a little bit of the Guam news. And I think, I got away from it. I was doing it a while back and kind of fell out of it, but we could cover some of it. Well, we got to get revved up again to follow all this stuff. But one of the things that I thought was neat is that, these places that aren't in existence anymore and trying to make the most out of abandoned properties or properties that are no longer in operation. And boy, we could really stand to do that with some of those properties that were used as garment factories back in the day before they closed almost not 20 years ago, but I'd say a good 15, to be fair, a good 15. And they're looking at turning the old Guam International Country Club into a solar farm. Like show the ghetto bike tow. Oh, I could do that. I'll do that. Give me a sec. I watched it. I just didn't download it. Let me go down to about Kapow. All right, I'll put that on there in a sec. All right, but so checking out the this story that's in the Guam PDN, which is all digital now, by the way. They are trying to turn this like a community golf course into a solar farm. And not a terrible idea, I guess, but here's the thing. There are so many rooftops. Just to be able to network all of them makes so much more sense. The tops of every school, the tops of every hospital, the tops of every government office and agency, turn them into that solar farm and have them spread out all over the place. Oh, someone's going by. Is that what do we got? Is it an ambulance? Yep, it's an ambulance. But have them turned into the solar farm. And just do it that way. I mean, you don't have to worry about taking up all the great limited public lands that are available. You could do it right there. All right, anyway, let's do this. Get this put up. This is, we got this viewer video. You might have heard that this guy's name's Tobat Castro. Chris, he's over there in Guam these days, at least for a little bit, working on his dad's crypt. Now his dad passed away, and he's down there with friends and family. And every so often, he's sending us some photos or videos of the adventures or misadventures that he's having down there in Guam. And here is one of them. Let's cue this up. As he called the ghetto bike tow. And in fact, it's funny because he put the comment, he's like, I got the most sketchiest family. Hold on.
Only in Melissa, electric bike. Walk you by the recorder of the
Man, that is great. I'll tell you, I've done that. I've done it on a bike, and it's not great, for sure. It's not great. While doing it on the bike, I mean, you got to put a lot of effort into holding onto the side and hold it. It depends how fast it's going. But even longer ago than that, I did that with rollerblades. We were training at a state park. And I was holding on. And you know what? Looking back at it, oh my God, how dumb is that? You hit the wrong little pebble or something like that, and you're gone. Do you want to be that guy? No. I am so glad I was not that guy, but I was definitely risk taker guy. And so that was good times, good times. How about what's the other one here? So we talked about that, the solar farm part. But here's another one, and this is like the I thought this was pretty funny. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not following the situation. You're just jumping in. Yeah, I know, that's true. So there was this guy who was released from UOG. He got fired. And when was he let go? Because I want to say the way I read it is that it happened a long time ago. Is this just recent? Okay, so yeah, he got 60 days this year. So there's a guy who worked for UOG. He was one of the administrators over there, and he's saying that wrongful termination and gender discrimination by university president. Dude, I doubt that's the case. He's saying that the school president got rid of him because he's not a woman who is in her inner circle. Dude, I think you're reaching. That's not good. Man, I'll tell you, if you're going to get the gate, go out with some class. Said he accuses the president of assigning him more work outside of his responsibilities than the other female administrators and accusing him of various things, including being a bad fundraiser behind his back. Oh my God. This guy sounds just as catty. I mean, it sounds like he would have fit right in. So I don't know what his issues were. He alleges he was told that he had more of a marketing communications background despite having 24 years of experience in his fieldwork. I don't know. I feel bad for this guy. There are definitely situations where people get let go, but I'm sure it was not a gender discrimination thing at all. You're not happy about losing your gig, but man, that's it's the wokest kind of thing. I am not that guy. I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for that kind of stuff. Not at all. And it's funny because it looks like such a bad thing. All right. Anyway, look, we only got. We're actually would be done with the show early, or now. But the latest update came out from AP. So not the sports. This is the news headlines. So I'll drop this on you before we go. Fingers crossed. Hope for sunny skies. Hope for some good breeze so we can have tonight Game 1 of the finals between the Padres and the defending champion Cardinals. That's right. Baseball, Saipan Baseball League, going to be happening tonight at Tonko Field. We will be there. I have a date with the Cabreras and Ray Palacios and you as we get there to cover the game tonight. So tune in. We'll be there. The game starts at 6:30, and if the weather says no, then we don't have any choice. But we're going to go with it. We're going to hope that we get some good enough weather for it. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in today and every day here on Good Morning Marianas. Remember, we're on Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Sometimes we run a little long. That's just what we do. We got more stuff to do. Oh, Tobot, no, it's not a best of 7. It's a best of 3 series. So the game's tonight, Thursday, and if needed, Game 3 will be on Friday. That's the schedule. So I'm hoping it's a sweep. It's been a long season. I'll just say it's been a long season. I'm ready to be. I'm looking forward to the Masters season coming up, but that's what we got. All right, folks. Well, let's get you the latest from AP, and then we're going to call it a day. We'll see you tonight for baseball. And again, thanks as always for being here. Have a great day.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Israel launched hundreds of airstrikes in southern and eastern Lebanon today, killing 492 people, including 35 children and 58 women. The Israeli military has called on residents to evacuate places it claims the Hezbollah militant group stores weapons. The AP's Joe Fetterman on what's led up to this.
Israel and Hezbollah have been exchanging fire almost daily for nearly a year since Israel went to war against Hamas militants in Gaza. But the tensions have been rising over the past week. First, there were the exploding pagers and walkie-talkies in Lebanon in attacks that were attributed to Israel. Then Israel assassinated a top Hezbollah commander. Hezbollah has responded with increasingly heavy barrages of rocket fire on northern Israel.
A detention memo filed by the Justice Department indicates the man accused in the latest apparent assassination attempt of Donald Trump wrote a note months earlier saying he intended to kill the former president. Meantime, Trump spoke to and took questions from farmers in western Pennsylvania today.
4 years ago, 5 years ago, you were doing better. All farmers they were doing better than they ever did. And now they're doing very bad. I mean, I hear more complaints from farmers than almost anybody, and that's the backbone of this country.
And Jackie Quinn has the latest on that strike at Boeing.
Boeing has rolled out what it calls its best and final offer to get more than 30,000 striking machinist workers who assemble aircraft back to work. This latest proposal includes bigger raises, 30%, and larger bonuses than the offer that union members rejected earlier this month. Those on the picket line in Washington state expressed their desire last week to end the nearly 2-week-old walkout.
We all want to get back to work, and we all want to be that Boeing family that we always have been.
Boeing says the new offer is contingent on union members ratifying the contract by Friday night. I'm Jackie Quinn.
This is AP News. A new sports teams visited the White House.
For the first time in National Women's Soccer League history, welcome to the White House of the 2023 championships.
That team is Gotham FC.
I think it's fair to say everyone watches women's sports.
This was the first trophy for Gotham FC from New York and New Jersey, and it came just a year after they finished in last place.
I mean this sincerely. A woman can do anything a man can do. Anything a man can do, including being president of the United States.
Biden's vice president, Kamala Harris, is the Democratic nominee for president. The president accepted a team jersey from retired captain Allie Krieger. Gotham FC is headed to the playoffs again, following a 1-0 win over Utah Royals on Sunday. The president said he hoped for another visit from the White House, but noted he won't be there as president, but he may come back to listen. I'm Ed Donahue.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawamian greetings. To Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news. From a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good Morning, Mariana.